So good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to viewers from all walks of life. This is Desamos, and welcome to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel of breaking empaths free. If it's your first time here, I encourage you to join us. Like our page, share with the friends, subscribe. And for those who have always been with me, you are welcome back, and I thank you for your love and support. Now, a lot of you see me doing videos in the park. Usually, you've seen me doing videos in the nature. Most of my videos I've started doing recently, since the weather has changed, I've been doing a lot of videos in the nature. And if you might be wondering, why am I spending a lot of time in the nature? That is because I'm doing grounding. There's something what they call grounding. So for those of you who don't know anything about spirituality, you have got to be grounded at all times, because grounding helps you to protect your energy, especially when you come to the nature, places like this. You take off your shoes, your slippers or whatever, sandals, put your feet on the ground and get connected with nature. Because when you are connected with nature, you become one with the universe. And usually during the grounding process, grounding also helps you to dissolve the ego. So like for most of us who are doing this kind of work is spiritual work. This is spiritual work. So definitely you have got to be protected. You have got to know protection is it's mandatory. You have got to be protected when you're doing this kind of work, spiritual work, because you just never know who is watching. There's a lot of those evil eyes everywhere, and there are a lot of these narcs everywhere. They're watching these videos. So you have got to stay grounded. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about why the narcissist won't leave you alone. Now, very many times I've had this question from my subscribers. I've had this question from my clients. The narc cannot leave me alone. The narc will not leave me alone. The narc will not leave me alone. Now, let me tell you something, people. Me as a coach as well, I will tell you the same thing. The narc won't leave me alone. It does not matter whether I'm doing these kind of narcissistic videos. It does not matter how much I know. It does not matter how well informed I am. The narcissist will always keep on tagging at you. I've always mentioned it in my videos. There's only one particular reason why they are doing this. In the narcissist program and setup, in the mind, in the programming, in the setup, in their setup, you are their property. So you belong to them. And again, I've said, it does not matter. If you have moved on to somebody new, if you're living with somebody new, if you're in a new relationship, you have got kids with somebody else, if you have moved on for the last 20 years, you left the narc for the last 20 years, 30 years, it does not matter how long you've been away from them. In the narcissist mind and setup, you are their property. They always believe they have got a very big entitlement when it comes to you. So they know, they believe they can always step in and come in should they need or whatever they need. That's how they're programmed to be. And this is not personal, and it has nothing to do with you as a person. It has nothing to do with you as a victim. It has something to do with the narc and how they are set up in their mind and how they are programmed. When you have been discarded from these individuals, when you have left them, you have got to be sure. You have got to have this confirmation that they will always sneak in. Should you give them the chance, they will always be there. There is a saying there's something I used to say before. It is the victim who puts an end to the narcissistic relationship. The narcissist cannot hurt. They cannot. It does not matter if they want to. They may want to, even sometimes they may think they want to, but they cannot. The programming, the setup, they are set up in that format that they will always think their victims, their previous victims, they are their properties. For the narcissist, it has nothing to do with you as a person. They are viewing people as properties. They are viewing people like, they're objects. People are objects for the narcissist. And if the narcissist has got into a situationship with someone, they will forever have it in their mind that that person is their property. So if you are there asking yourself why the narc cannot leave you alone, you just have to have the confirmation that they will always be around. They will always be in the backyard lurking. They will always be looking. They will always be searching. They will always be actually spying on you. Social media pages. I am a coach, and I can tell you that hundreds of them, they are watching my pages. They're watching my content, even including my ex-narc. They're watching my pages. They're watching my content. But at the same time, there's nothing they can do, because that is how they are set up. It is just a setting. So, in this video, what I want to make you realize is that you are the person who is supposed to put the end. You're supposed to put the stop to this madness, to this nonsense. If you have left these individuals, the reason why you see most of the coaches, we've been usually advising you, we've been emphasizing the point of no contact and staying very far away from them. This is because by you staying in their vicinity, in the place where they can reach you easily and get access to you, it becomes very easy for them to sneak in should need be, and should they be ready to do so. Because believe me, they will. It does not matter 20 years, 30 years later on down the road. You've heard about people, they've been hoovered for 40 years. I've had subscribers who have engaged with NARCs for 50 years, for a very long period of time. And all of a sudden, then the text message is coming in from the ex-NARC. They want to go for a coffee, they want to go for a meal or something like that. The NARCs, they are programmed like that. They will always be around. They are always in the background looking. They are watching. So for the individuals who are wondering, those individuals, why are they still sneaking around? That is because they believe they are entitled. They believe they are entitled to you, and they believe you are their property. It does not matter how far you go. It does not matter. That's the reason why sometimes you've heard me saying in some of my videos, you've heard me saying that sometimes you will see these NARCs with a lot of records of their ex-boyfriends and ex-girlfriends in their phones. They have got all the records. They have got all the photographs of the people they have dated before. It does not matter if it was 20 years ago, 25 years ago. They have got all the records of the people they have been dating. That is because the NARCs simply in they are programmed simply in their mind that at some point in time they should come in and sneak in and take up those people should need be, and get back into contact with them, into situationships with them. So they will always come back. The narcissist will not leave you alone. I repeat. The narcissist will not leave you alone. It is you who is going to leave the narcissist. The narcissist will not leave you. You are the one going to leave the narcissist. By that, what I mean, you are the one completely going to make your presence. You are the one who is going to, excuse me guys, you are the one who is going to disappear from their life. So they will not disappear from your life, you are going to disappear from their life. By this, what I mean is that sometimes even you've seen people, they have to relocate, to move to different cities. They have to move to new houses. They have to create new environments because they were very much thinking and anticipating that these individuals, they were going to show up at some point. And indeed, they will show up. So that's how the setup of the narcissist works. You know what I mean? So for the most of you, the only thing you can do for yourself is to make yourself unavailable. The only thing, I repeat this, the only thing you can do for yourself if you don't want the narcissist to show back in your life, to show up back in your life, is to make yourself unavailable. By this, what I mean, you might have actually to consider blocking each and everything you have about them. Anything what is concerning the narcissist, especially like social media pages, on your sites, on whatever social media, you're supposed to block them in whichever way possible, on your phones, their numbers. Should you sense that even they're using another number to keep on calling you, you have got to block that number because they will always try. They are going to try. Like I've said, people, I am a coach, and me as well. I'm still a person who is facing this kind of thing, who is facing these situations whereby I have got to engage the NARC at some point because we have got family, we have got kids. So I have got to engage them at some point. They are supposed to show up at some point because there's some children involved. So most of the time, especially if you have got kids with them, they can use that advantage to get to you because they are using the child as the window. They need the window most usually, and sometimes they can even use the kids as the windows because they pretend that, for example, they are driving the kid to your place, or maybe you have got to go and see the kid. There's something going on, this and that, and in that moment, that's when they are going to try to get to you. They will always try, people, like I've said. The narcissists will always try. That is their setup. So guys, that's what I'm saying in my video. It's a very short video for today. I'm heading out. It's a Saturday, but let me know in the comment section below what you think about this. And until then, guys, we'll be in touch soon. Much love and blessings. And there's more signing out.